Well, Experts Club, we're here, excited to talk about marketing. This is the amazing Stefanie Davis. So Stefanie Davis
Hi.
has Stefanie Davis Media. She does all things marketing and does some really beautiful things. Obviously, Ben and Drew and I got to work with her in a different lifetime at Roasters Coffee, and we got to see things grow. Stefanie, where was Roasters at when you first started? And then like, where were we at? We were at like 7 or 8 stores, and then we brought you in.
I don't remember. I feel like maybe it was 9. I don't know.
Okay.
Ben might remember, but it was like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So I remember when I came in, it was a cusp of a lot more growth and rapid growth of stores.
Yeah.
Walla Walla was coming in new. So if you
Yep.
remember what number that was, I think that was the first grand opening, and then more came.
Yep.
And it was just that cusp of the business owner ready to like hand over things and be more in their realm of expertise so they could scale their business.
Yep.
Because they were doing it themselves or having people kind of piece and part, and they were ready to present themselves more professionally and that kind of thing.
Yeah. So we've done, just Stefanie, to catch you up, because I know obviously we brought you in. Thank you so much for being our guest. Thank you for being willing to come and share just your amazing skills and the kinds of work that you do. But to catch you up to speed up to this point, we've been talking a lot about, in fact, we spent almost a whole episode on delegate and elevate. And as far as like, what are the things that should be living with you and where should you elevate and delegate things down? I mean, like, where are things that, and I think Wes has gotten to that place where he's got so many different things going. We're doing so much with growth. For the owner of the business to still be managing all of his social media just wasn't making sense. And it was like super erratic and it was all over the place and it had no real form or follow. It was just like, as he felt led, and he'd throw up some images and he would do this, but it wasn't any rhythm of scheduling and all those things. Do you feel like that's usually where you find people when you start taking on things?
Generally, well, honestly, it just depends. But generally, it's that realm of like, okay, I've built my business to a certain place, and if I want to really continue to achieve my goals, I have to hand things off. And usually, you're not able to be the visionary and the lead, and then also run all your marketing. Also, it's very personal.
Yep.
And so sometimes you need somebody to be more objective because
Yep.
some things can be stressful. You own a coffee chain or a coffee shop and people are complaining here and there. I mean, we all get it no matter how good of a shop we run. And that can get to you and then get in the way of your growth and all of that. Just because
I forgot that's how you got looped in. It was that, man, it was sucking all the life out of Wes every time he would come on.
He wanted to like
would just like chip teeth at him. And he was like, oh, what'd you just say? Instead of like, no, it's okay. You don't have to get so on fire.
And it can just be those common complaints. But when you pour your heart and soul and time into something, sometimes the complaints get to you. So it's nice to just have somebody take care of that.
Yep.
And, systemize it. And then, you can just keep being the visionary and the creator of your business. So
I think it's super smart to identify what is your role, right? As we come into 2022, as we come into a new year, I think it's always important to ask ourselves, okay, so what are the things I'm going to be focusing on this year? What are the things I'm going to intentionally not be focusing on this year? And if I'm not focusing on those things, who is going to focus on them? Otherwise, they're just going to atrophy and die, right? So I think that identifying, and I think that was super kudos to Wes that he found you. I think you obviously way leveled up what he was already doing. Obviously, it took, as an owner operator, it's your sweat equity, right? It doesn't cost you anything except for your time and your energy to go and put some time at something like social media. But you do get to a point in your business where it's like, I probably should be reaching out to somebody who has a better insight, or this is what they do professionally, or they've got some sort of plan they can plug me into. So it's not just left to the erratic, how I feel on any given day, but we have a trajectory. So do you feel like that's something that you enjoy doing, Steph, as far as like coming up with plan and projecting people in a direction?
Oh my gosh, I love marketing strategy because it's not just about business, it's about community. And every one of us, I mean, our business is our dream. It's what we feel called to do. It's our passion, So when I come in and I help people with their marketing, I'm helping you achieve your dreams, your passions. You get to end the day fulfilled. But also, I've fallen in love with the coffee niche because coffee is community, and it's way, way more than a cup of coffee and energy. That's what makes this mom's day who's tired and has been picking up puke the night before, right, or this guy who's got a meeting and he needs energy. I mean, it's just so much more, and people then start to connect with the baristas. It's community. It sounds dramatic, Drew, Ben can laugh at me, but it's life changing. We get people that would tell stories. I was there and I got some memorable thing. So we get to be a little piece and part of their life. It's really more important than a cup of coffee. Good coffee matters, but so yeah. Long answer short, yes, I love it.
No, it's good. And I think that the other part that we never get to talk about that doesn't get a lot of stage time, but is really true, is that you're part of documenting the story, right? There's going to be a time where we move on past this thing that was so important to Ben at the operational level, or, Drew at running stores level. Like that thing's going to pass and it's going to become the next big thing. But what we do with our marketing carries that on forever, right? Like that's something that is able to, hold on to
and when I get to it here in a bit, a big part of the types of things that are the most engaging for our communities is the different ways we bring them in to our culture, our community, and our story. So if we can create that in our marketing, we're going to have forever fans. And so I'm going to help you with what kinds of things to keep in mind to create that.
I love that. And that's a beautiful transition into what you're going to share on today. So Ben, if you would please, do you have the Slido link? Nope, because I always usually beat you to it.
Right here.
That's what happens. So we're going to drop in the Slido link. If you have questions for Stefanie, or if you have questions you want us to be addressing on the call later on today, obviously, as always, we're going to hit question and answer towards the end. But Stefanie, I think that was a great transition into like what your recommendations are for the people that are listening today based upon your craft and your skill.
Cool. So I'll go through some things. Do you want me just to kind of do that, and then questions at the end? Do it
that
way?
Yeah. So
okay. Well, I can get sidetracked.
And maybe, no, it's good. Like Ben and Drew might have some things that they want to throw in just from contextual perspective, but then we'll open it up for anybody that has questions towards the end.
Sure. Okay. So the first thing is the new year's coming. What are the social trends that I see from working years in marketing and with coffee and that kind of thing? So number one, which we shouldn't be surprised of, I'm sure you're going to expect this: video, and short form video. TikTok has taken over our culture. Honestly, I won't get too off track with that, but I just heard a radio ad. I've seen TV ads, and they're using trending TikTok dances, trending TikTok music, and such. It is the trending lead of everything, and also the majority of where people are. It's growing faster than anything that's ever been, and they're top dog. So short form video is a must in your marketing strategy, and I'll explain a little bit more because it's a really key component to actually simplifying your content and how you can be really, really efficient. But video is a must. Short form is an absolute must. And how we know too, because TikTok's overpowering everything. And so everybody else that's a competitor has to adopt or they're going to die. So that's why we see Facebook for when they bought Instagram, but they're pulling in Instagram Reels even into your feed in Facebook. You got to do stories now. Instagram came out just a few months ago. One of the lead roles in Instagram said, we're not a picture platform anymore. We're a video platform. Wow. So now if you want reach, you better be doing Reels. Even YouTube now has what's called YouTube Shorts, right, which are basically like little stories or short form video. Pinterest is even doing it, and so on. So yeah, the other one that I've just seen continuing more and more is the value of I can't say it, being authentic. I won't say that way. I think 10 years ago, and so there was a time in marketing where it was very beautified, very polished, but now I think there's a real value and trend and a continuing trend to being very authentic. That doesn't mean that there isn't a place for polished visuals and things like that, but making sure there's a piece in that in your marketing is super essential because people want to relate. And that's where you see a lot of the viral content. It's usually very relatable, very not polished content. Mm-hmm. And beings that we live on, sadly, but we live on social media, the majority of society. So this is the real world now to us. It's just a part. So I think that's why that authentic trend that just keeps going is what it is. It's because it's just life now. This is just part of life. It's not this polished place we check in.
I'm sure it's tough too. Like for some people doing, like, I would consider coffee craft. Like they're a craft vendor versus like somebody that's more like a box store or sells something that's in packaging. Like for coffee, this is your craft. And so I think that there's probably that resistance to a virtual world versus like the real world of just natural interactions. But I think that there's a way that you can breach into that, I feel like, where you can bring your authenticity through in your messaging and hit the virtual world the same way you are the real world, right? You're just amplifying it. You're just putting the speaker on and letting more people hear it than just the people that are walking through your doors.
Well, I think especially like coffee niche, if you're brick and mortar, you're just really melting them together even more. And that's a beautiful thing if you do it right, because then, of course, there's a lot of different businesses I can't think of right now, but coffee, you could see somebody every single day. Lots of businesses, you're not going to see people that frequently.
Right.
So you do still have that real world in-person touch, but if you do it right, they're going to be really engaged online too. So they're engaged with you all throughout the day. And so it's a cool thing. Let's see what else. This isn't necessarily like a new trend, but to me, just like the essentialness of customer service online, because everything's kind of shifting. So I think that's not as much a trend as it's just where, we just keep on becoming more technical and more technical and more technical. Right. So depending on how large your business is or whatnot, you really have to be able to address and have something set out for how you address concerns and take care of customers online, because they're mostly there. They're almost there more, or that's where they're going to find you to complain, because a lot of times they're going to get their drink and go. Mm-hmm. So, I kept these in mind, like specifically for our niche. Did somebody say something? Sorry.
I was going to actually have a question, and you'll probably get to this, but like when it comes to the short form video, like is Instagram, do you see getting as much traction as TikTok, or is it like they're trying to play catch up right now with TikTok when it comes to like your marketing materials?
I think that I don't think it's catching up with TikTok. TikTok is still the leader in trend. So when I get to talking about efficiency, I'll talk about why I think people should start with TikTok and then spread out. But I think they're trying, I don't think they're going anywhere, and I don't think they're dying by any means, but they're definitely like up-leveling to compete, but they're not like on the same playing field, in my opinion, because they're not leading the trends. Like, to me, that's the one thing.
That's true.
To some level, but because they've switched their algorithm and what they want to value, I can put something on TikTok and it won't go viral there, but it'll go viral on Instagram. So when I get into efficiency, I'll talk about it more. But since you mentioned it, like, what's kind of cool about that is just that now you have this thing that you have multiple places that are wanting this type of marketing content, let's say, and you have multiple opportunities for it to perform, where like before, when this wasn't such the trend, it's like in this platform, this is what you do. In this platform, this is what you would do. Right. And so you had to formulate that for every single one. I feel like one positive, because I know people get cringy about video. It's stressful to some people, but the one plus is that they all want it because they know they need it to compete. And so then that does create efficiency. Anyways, I don't know if that.
No, that's good.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting.
That's why I've been having Drew work on some dances. There's some dances that we're gonna start rolling them out in short form here real soon.
The good a little bit more coordinated.
The good news, so nobody checks out, and I'll come to this in more detail later, is you don't got to dance and sing to be successful. And actually in the coffee niche, I'm going to share what's been some of our most viral, and anyone can do it. And it doesn't take being an extrovert. It takes as much as pouring some coffee in a cup. So I'll talk to you about that. So yeah, don't, oh man, if that's it, I'm not going to do well. No, there's no dancing and singing needed. I've gotten virals up to almost 60K just with making a drink. So
Drew, don't listen to her though. You're still gonna have to do the dances. Because I can't get Ben to dance. I can't get Ben to dance. So it's like, I'm glad we're gonna have other.
I don't know how to.
Okay. So then the other that I see as a building trend is just purpose and mission driven marketing. I think that more and more people love the feeling they get when they buy something and it contributes to something they care about. That doesn't mean that every time I drink a cup of coffee, it goes to help something, like a person of lesser well off or whatever. Sometimes it can just be that people love your brand so much, they love to support it and they love the baristas. But anyways, I think there's just this growing thing of really wanting to be a part of a community with this brand. And when I buy it, it does something good. I want to be a part. I want to have a voice. And I mean, you know, people buy, I can't think of the shoe now. It's very common. You know, every time I buy the shoe, it goes to this or that.
Tom's.
Yeah, like Tom's is one, but that's not new. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. And you notice if you really look at a lot of the larger brands, they have some element of mission driven purpose marketing, in my opinion. Sometimes it's seasonal. It can be a campaign too. It's not all the time, but that stuff gets people excited. And I think it gets people where, oh man, I really want to commit to being this, you know, forever fan because I love what they're about, you know, and I feel good when I get coffee, whether it's a campaign now or later. I feel good about being a part of this. And I think I won't say it out loud because I don't care. I don't like Starbucks. I like to study their marketing. Their coffee is bad. And, but you know, so.
Don't offend Ben. Ben used to work at Starbucks, right?
Sorry.
Ages ago.
But they have some really good structure to their marketing and how they built their system. So I've been studying that. But anyways, if you could think to yourself though, certain brands that you do or do not want to interact with for multiple reasons. So usually if you think about it, it's something to do. It could just be their mission statement, what they're about, whatever. Anyways, so that's the other part. And I made some notes under that. I think I already said it, but I'll just look at it and make sure I didn't miss anything. Because what I've found, and this will tie into some other things, but is in the coffee niche, people want their voice heard. I mean, honestly, I think it's in any niche, but they really want their voice heard. They love to be asked like what they want, what they like, what they want, where they like to go. They love to have a part in your vision or a decision if it makes sense. Like, for example, we would do charity giving and we wouldn't necessarily let people choose, but we would choose from their voice. And so then they get to be a part of it and it just feels good. And they're taking a deeper interest in what you do. And it draws their attention. It's memorable. They're remembering it, you know, farther than a cup of coffee. You know, and in all of that, then you get to, you know, engage and entertain them and educate them about what's going on and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah. So those are my main points of trends. Any questions on that? Is that okay? I have sections so I can ask if.
Yeah, you're the boss. Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay. So any thoughts or questions on trends or anything you've seen that you have question marks about or
is Facebook still the #1 for like actual like text engagement of like commenting and replies, or is it sort of moved on from that? Because I remember when we were doing it was like comment on Facebook, that's where you go and comment, that's where you go and complain, that's where you go and say I love my barista. Is it moved on from Facebook, or would you say they're still pretty dominant in that?
It's still pretty dominant, and I foresee that probably like a brick and mortar, you're still gonna have a Facebook. It just depends on where you kind of focus your attention. You can kind of train your following on where they're going to communicate with you the most. And they started like the Facebook page was there a long time when, you know what I mean? Like what may shift may be different. I mean, people could do it on TikTok too. It just would depend now. But for now, yeah, I see that. But if you didn't have anything and you started a TikTok, post on Instagram, it would just all be there, let's say.
What about ad dollars being spent? Like, do you feel like, it seems like anytime I ever hear anybody advertising anything, they're still advertising through Facebook. That's the best place where they can for monetizing their ROAS, or, you know, the return on ad spend. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's becoming a lot. It's not like it used to be in Facebook. And people are seeing what it used to be on Facebook on TikTok. People are running ads on TikTok and they're really getting a lot of successes with it. I think it's and I'm seeing, like, I think that's just, it's that cycle. Like Facebook, whatever's new, and then they run ads a lot of times, and you see this more rich return, and then it develops more. It's a little less, a little harder. Like Facebook and Instagram are harder to get organic reach now than when I started. I could get 600 likes. I'm lucky if I get 250 now, right? So, I mean, I see that same with ads too, a little, you know, and I have specialists I work with just do ads only, and they're on fire with TikTok now. They're saying what they're seeing on TikTok ads, for instance, is what they used to see with Facebook. So they're seeing a little bit cheaper, you know, return for conversions of whatever they're trying to sell or whatnot. Depends on what kind of ad, you know.
Yeah.
And you can do different things. Like, I don't know what, is it Tasha or Tasha? Tasha and Ryan, if it's just brick and mortars you do, or like if you also do like a coffee subscription or something. Certain things also can be useful for ads in different places. Like if you had a subscription, you can do ads all over, but like you might sell, you could definitely sell on Pinterest, which that's a total different game. You spend less and it's this long game thing. But anyways, I could go off too much, but short answer, I think they're seeing, but I don't run ads personally. If I run ads within my stuff, I have a specialist do it, like somebody that only does ads for that, but they're seeing better results on TikTok. But it doesn't mean Facebook's dead. It just means they're having to spend more and not see as much, is what I've been seeing.
I love it. So you've got some examples for us, right? You've got like the power of some good visual content.
Yeah. And I need to keep track of time. Where are we at?
I'll keep you on screen.
Okay. You keep me. Okay, good. Okay. I need to share my screen and I'll show you a few things.
Should be good.
I can do that. Okay, cool. I cleaned up my computer too, so it's not a million tabs like usual. I have like 20,000 tabs. Yeah, Ben's laughing because he knows. Like, let me find the tab. This is super simple, but let's see here. I'm gonna move this. Let's see if it'll let me. I just kind of wanted to show, okay, so, you know, the visual part of marketing is so important still. It's a really big part of it, right? I mean, we process a lot of things in a second from what we see. So I'm just showing some like, just examples of like what visual marketing might have looked like before I started with this company. And the very first image, which this is over 3 years ago now. So the images developed it in a positive way even more, but like you can see like just the power of busy, not good quality imagery so much, and it did well. But even just an image that's improved, and drizzle shots people get drooly about in the coffee niche, so keep that in mind. And usually, although the algorithms are shifting to video, before that, and even so, but especially before that, I knew that if I did a drizzle shot, I would get really high reach. And so those are things you observe in your own marketing and stuff. But anyways, this was my first shot when I started with this coffee company. And you can see the difference, you know, almost 400 to about 160 more likes just because of a visual difference. And this was a deal day. So this was high because it was a deal day. I think if it was not a deal day, it would have been it would have been lower too. So it just kind of shows you like the power of visual, and obviously what kind of makes you go, I wasn't thinking about coffee, but now I am. Sorry. Okay. And this was just like, just a visual of like what grid speaks to you more. And I'm going to talk about like the 10 most engaging type posts. Actually, I'll probably just do that while I'm showing you this. But anyways, this was the grid before I started helping them. And this is where it is right now. It's changed a little bit. It's actually not as like patterned and polished. I would do like checkerboard pattern and like these kinds of things. But Instagram's kind of pulling out of that because again, it's not this, we're a grid platform. So like this thing was just this was a viral reshare from another account, but got really high engagement for now. I think I'd have to look, maybe it's 400, 500, where now you can't hardly get that now, but that's a viral reshare. But like reshare tweets and reshare content, which that's for another talk. There's a strategy for how to find these. That's part of what's going on now. But anyway, so you can see the difference in like what was posted very textish and not really like just speaking to you visually, to like enticing you to click and see what's going on. And since we're looking at this, I think it makes sense to just talk about, since we're looking at the visuals at the time, is like, what are the 10 most engaging posts for the coffee niche? I'm gonna go back through them, but I'm just gonna, as I look, I'm gonna tell you some stuff. So first off, viral reshares. Second, another thing is deals, obviously. Deal days always will. If we do giveaways, those are actually the very top. Obviously, people love to get it, and you get a gift card. Now, I'll tell you this, you don't have to give $150. I don't see much difference whether I give a $25 gift card giveaway or a $200 giveaway, really, honestly. It's not that significant. I mean, I think one time we did like a 100 free drink card giveaway. I mean, maybe, yeah, that was a double, but I mean, in the scheme of like, if you were to build out your calendar, like you don't have to give that much away for people to be excited anyways. Drizzle shots, variety, process shots, baristas. So people really connect with who serves their coffee. And so I've always found that to be some of the best posts generally, because then people go, oh, that's my barista, or they serve me. We were for a time, but this company's in a shifting situation. So it's just a little different right now. But I used to do like highlights even on the baristas, and we would do fun like, hey, this is Sarah, here's some fun stuff about her. And people kind of love that because they, just get to know a little something fun, maybe a hobby or whatever. I had set things that I would, when I do them, it was like, what's their hobby? When did they start? Why do they love what they do? What's a quirky, fun thing about them? That kind of thing. That stuff that people like. Of course, reels, that's like, you got to have that. This just shows more of like, since I've worked with them and like how the grid changed. Viral content. This is viral content again. These are all reshare viral content, which we never would have done before, but that's kind of some of the shift. If you are gonna do, you can do some of your own posts, but these are gonna perform better anyways.
So like viral memes, those really take off too.
Yeah. So like when I'm managing an account, whether it be like TikTok, there's different ways to find it, but I'm looking at like other content that's basically been engaged with virally. And if I know it's engaged virally somewhere else, then if I reshare it on my account, it's almost a given that I will have high reach and high engagement. So the power of that in your content as a portion of it, you don't want it to be all of it, because it's too spammy kind of. It's like people just come for that. But what it does is you get more reach and more eyeballs and a little more engagement. And so then when you pop the next thing, even if it doesn't get as much, more people see it. So those are the organic tricks without paid advertising. And a lot of the stuff I'm showing, this is like all the best things you can do without ad spend. Because actually we hardly ever spent ad spend in all this time. We'd have like grand openings and things, but for the most part, it was organic. I think that's it. I just kind of showed some differences. So now I'll go back to that we don't really need to. Oh, I wanted to show you something else too. Hold on, I'm going to close this. So now to short form video, back to like trends and also some of what will be your most engaging and highest reaching content, period. If you want your reach up, let's just say even on Instagram, it will not be up unless you do reels. I suggest, it just depends on what kind of service I'm doing for people. But honestly, no less than 3 times a week. If I'm like super pumping up a brand, I'm posting one every day in addition to other posts. I have people I post 4 times a day, but you don't need to do that. I mean, I ran just once a day for this coffee company for years, and they went from like 9,000 followers to, I don't know, I think it's 18 or something. We're stagnant now, but that has more to do with the business transition they're in. But I just wanted to show you how simple this is. Okay, so this video here, it did not go viral. Okay, I created it on TikTok So we're going to go into, this is the segment of, this is the segment of content creation efficiency. And all around the fact that there's this big thing in the room and that short form video, and all the channels basically want it. I create on TikTok because that's where the trending music is. Let's just talk about that. And so, but there's trending hashtags, trending themes, and trending music. But anyways, it's the lead horse right now with that. I don't think that's a thing. I just made that up. Maybe an engine, I don't know. But anyways,
lead horse sounds good. Go.
I know, the lead horse, yeah. But anyways, so I go there, I take what content I shoot, let's say, and I'm gonna formulate it over on TikTok, and then I'm gonna pull it in all the places. Depending on what channels you decide to market yourself on, whether it be like, YouTube and Instagram, and if it's Facebook, you can take these, pull them off, make them square, pop them on your feed, and you can pop them in your story, and I can put it on YouTube Shorts and all that. So I can take this one piece and I can just plaster everywhere else. I honestly could just do that. Plus maybe you got a few deals here and there where you need stagnant imagery. But anyway, so I created this one here went, did not go viral on TikTok, but went viral-ish on, I think over 10K on Instagram. This one, I believe, did not go viral on Instagram, but then it went very viral on TikTok, over 50,000 views. So pretty cool. Oops, let's see, my thing will be glitchy. Oops, because I hit it at the end, sorry.
Oh, the good old rocket days.
Nothing overly fancy. Anyone can shoot that. For this one going viral on Instagram, why it was a seasonal drink, mostly, and it told the recipe, and people are really interested in that. For the coffee niche, they love knowing what the recipe is. On this one, they took the sound out of here. Oh, I guess they didn't.
Drizzle.
That one, whoops, sorry. That one for sure went viral on TikTok because that was a viral song and it was specifically being used to make drinks. So that one was very much viral because I really pushed into a trend. And there's generally food trends and drink trends all the time. But anyways, and it still did well on Instagram, but it didn't go viral. But anyways, I just wanted to show you, you can do it. You can do it. It's nothing snazzy, and it's iPhone easy stuff.
No dances?
Huh?
No dances?
No dances. Now, we had some, like, I didn't save them all, but like, we did have some dancing ones on Roasters.
They did, Drew.
Remember that.
But like, I pushed into some
Not
TikToks
me.
with people that were willing. Like, we had one where they ran in and then they I had some ideas to it and we did it and they performed well. And so absolutely, you can really push into stuff and you can do all kinds of fun stuff. I help people with even just, here, let me give you like a check-off list of like, here's all the ideas that you could do for a month in your niche with what's trending for this month, because the trends move pretty fast. But I do that for people and then they create type thing. But these just, I thought most people are like, video, that's overwhelming. So to show it's simple, it doesn't have to be. And you can do even talking head, just a video, like we've got a special coming, and you can, put it in there. It's not trending or anything, but you can provide value or that kind of thing. So lastly, any questions on just efficient, like creating content and how to be efficient, how to multi-purpose it?
So essentially sorry, go ahead. Who asked?
I was just saying, it seems pretty easy.
It's not that hard. I mean,
You make it seem easy.
Yeah, there's time consumingness to, it's time consuming. I keep on making up words. I don't know, whatever. It's time consuming to shoot them, but once you have everything, yeah, I mean, that's what efficiency is all about, is like seeing, yeah, I mean, right. That's the beauty. That's the thing that I think is encouraging, again, is what I said before, beings that they're all competing against, stay relevant because of TikTok. They're kind of you know, copying a little, like we require this too. So what's nice is you can take it and multi-purpose it. Now there's little tricks to that though. When you pull off TikTok, you got to use certain apps and stuff because they'll hinder your reach if TikTok is showing here. See that? Yeah. This one I pulled off differently and I removed the watermark. So after this, you'll be able to email me questions and stuff and I can give you tips. But anyway, so there's a few little things you got to do to process them. But yeah, it's not that hard, Ben. Consistency. Simplicity and consistency. Sometimes we get ourselves really overwhelmed, and also we don't need to be in a million places either. Just pick a few places and then stick to it and just be consistent. And if you can't be consistent every day, if you can be consistent 5 days a week and that's it, or whatever it be, just be really consistent. And in a year's time, if you can stick to something that's realistic, keep it simple and relatable, and get your brand across to people, you'll be amazed what you'll achieve in a year's time. So any other questions?
So essentially you're creating TikTok, and then are you sharing from the platform, or are you saying you pull them down and you repost them in the other platform?
What I do basically is you can copy this link, you take it into an app, or sometimes it's on your computer. It pulls the video off and removes the watermark for you. Yeah. And then from there, I take that and I can put it everywhere. I mean, a person could take this and they could edit it totally somewhere else, but I find the process most quick to actually just do it right in TikTok. A lot of times, if I'm managing people and they don't have TikTok as a channel I'm running, sometimes I'll just say, I'm not going to manage it, but like if you could give me access, because I'll just create it all right there and I'll pull it from there. It just depends on people's needs.
That's great.
But yeah, I do it there and pull it out. Then you just remove the watermark. And then like for Facebook, I'll just, you can see on your smartphone, you can take a video and just make it square. Just do it right there.
Yeah.
Or you can do it on a simple editing tool. I make them square for Facebook as far as fits a post, but otherwise that fits everything. It fits stories. It fits all short form video requirement for pretty much any channel. So.
Great.
Okay. And my last thing is, what are the top 10 most engaging posts you can make as a coffee business owner? You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, so number one, I've already mentioned some of these, but people love to be asked things. They love to tell you what their favorite drink is. They love, if you have more than one location, they love for you to ask them which location is their home location. So they love that. And I always, even as things have shifted through the years, they're still the best posts. They love telling you things. I wrote my own note. Now, what was I talking about? See more of, behind the scenes. They love seeing behind the scenes. They're curious. It makes it relatable again. It tells your brand story and people just connect with you that way. And there's all kinds of ways you can do that. It can be just from what you do to have the coffee ready for them week to week. It could just be making a drink. That's behind the scenes, really, this kind of thing, although it's also informative and educational. So that works well. If we're just talking visuals, pour shots still do pretty well, I feel. But like, as you see that video, all drizzly and caramel, sweet, delicious, yummy things people generally respond to. It depends on your niche, though. I know some of you may be like different coffee brands push into more like the latte art and the more like not sweet stuff. And it just depends on where your brand is and what you've established, like you're all about. This company still, like, there was just that element of sweet drinks. And so you just kind of couldn't escape it. Even if you try to do something healthy, maybe they say they want it, but they'd still react to all the drizzle shots and the chocolate syrup and all that kind of thing. Drink specials is always something. So thinking about bringing that into your marketing calendar, people look forward to something new that's a special, whether it's a deal or maybe it's a seasonal drink. So those always do well. Presenting them well visually makes a difference, of course. Promotions, so of not just drink specials, but like, a deal day, buy one, get one, $1 off all energy drinks, that kind of thing. Giveaways are like number one. You just want to be careful not to overdo those. but they always are great engagement drivers. They're a great organic tool for building your channels. Giving back, those are some of the best posts we've had too. Again, because we're taking social listening. Social listening is where you're asking your fans online, taking social listening, implementing something that reiterates the mission of the brand, and they get to take take part in it. And then you see a lot of engagement generally with that. Viral engagement posts in your niche. And that has to do, again, with what I kind of mentioned with some of my images, where I will go and I will look for viral content that's performing in other, like on Instagram, I'll search certain hashtags and certain accounts, and I'll identify and find content that's performing viral. I find that, and then I reshare it. So that does really well. And I usually try to, in a percentage wise, if I was posting every day of the week, I would utilize that twice a week.
Okay.
And that kind of a ratio, just to keep that engagement up and that reach. And that's from an organic tactic tool to keep your eyeballs on your online presence. Baristas is also one, like I mentioned before, that always is good for engagement. And then progress, a little bit, this falls into behind the scenes, but like if you have a new location, you got a new machine to roast beans, anything kind of new and fun that's going to bring something for them to look forward to in your brand, bring them in and tell the story as it goes. Sometimes we think we need to present everything perfectly, but people love following along. Maybe you buy a coffee bean thing and there's a little trial and error to the roaster, I don't know, to roasting the bean. And you can make it fun. It just depends on your personality, but people love to follow along. When we were building new stores, those posts were some of the best ones because people are really curious what's going on and that kind of thing. So yeah, so we've covered trends for the new year or things that are just becoming more and more important as each year goes by. We talked about and gave some examples of good visual content and the difference it can make in your your marketing presence. We've talked about how to basically multi-purpose your content from a TikTok short form video standpoint, and how that can be more efficient for you. And then we just talked about 10 of the most I hope I said 10. Call me out if I didn't, but it should be about 10 of the most engaging posts. So there you go. That's it.
I love it.